Hello everyone, my name is Hector. This is Everything Horror, where we like to talk about everything horror. And in today's video, we are going to go over my top 10, yes, this is mine, my top 10 horror movies for 2019. Now, a lot of people's lists are different. I'm actually pretty happy with this list. A couple of side notes. There were some movies that I missed this year. I didn't get to see The Lighthouse. It was a very limited release where I'm at. It was only here for like 2 weeks and I didn't get to watch it. I actually want to start off with my top 5 worst horror movies for 2019. Let's just get that out of the way and then we'll get into my top 10. So for number 5 for worst horror movie, I have Annabelle Comes Home. This is a movie that I totally forgot came out this year. It's pretty crazy because these movies come out every single year. We have The Nun. We have another one that I forgot came out this year, La Llorona. That's number 4. But yeah, the same thing for those two. They just aren't great. Every single film has the same formula for scares. It's just jump scare after jump scare, and it's just not entertaining. They all have the same formula. Even La Llorona, they could have done something different with it, but they didn't. They went back to the same, go to the family. They had to call some type of priest to get help, this and that. They could have played with the fact that this is, Mexican lore. It could have taken place in Mexico. It would have been very neat to see it go in that direction, but no. They just went to the same old, same old. Annabelle Comes Home. There was some okay parts, and it just takes place in the house. So that's why Annabelle's number 5 and La Llorona, I just didn't really like it. For number 3, this movie disappointed me, and that's why it's on my top 5 worst movies list. Pet Sematary, man. I was very excited for this film. I love Stephen King. I love adaptations. I love the original Pet Sematary. Holy crap, they just threw this one in the toilet, man. So disappointing, especially seeing that trailer that showed... Well, what is up with these trailers, man? It just showed way too much. It should have been something that you should have experienced in the film. I don't know why they did what they did in the trailer. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you. It's an okay film, but it's just very disappointing, and that's why it's high up on my list. Number 2, Velvet Buzzsaw. This movie is just so tone deaf, and it doesn't even know what it wants to be. The visuals were pretty cool to look at, but there's just no substance to this film, and it makes no sense. So that's why it is number 2. I felt like I wasted a couple of hours of my life. I didn't care for it at all. And for number 1, this is my review for Black Christmas. It was just so disappointing. It was so bad, so heavy-handed with the message. It was... They just tarnished the Black Christmas name. They shouldn't have named it Black Christmas. They're trying to capitalize on a known IP to send a message that is so heavy-handed. It just rubs you the wrong way. I'm all for women empowerment, but oh my gosh, it is so contradictory. The film, the trailers ruin the movie. You know exactly what's going to happen, and you know exactly where everything's going, and holy crap, that ending is just so fucking bad. Oh, this movie just pissed me off. But yeah, man, I don't really want to talk about that movie. That is my review for Black Christmas. I don't want to make a separate video for that. I don't want to give too much time into that movie. But yeah, now that we got all the bad mojo out from inside myself. Okay, before my top 10 list, I actually have a couple of honorable mentions. I have Ma. That movie was so weird, but it's actually entertaining. I really liked it. I know a lot of people have mixed reactions towards that film. I actually kind of liked it. It was very weird. It was different. So yeah, definitely, it's not worth being on my list, but it's worth being an honorable mention. My last honorable mention is Haunt. I actually watched that movie twice, and the first time I didn't really care for it. It was just okay. But as I watched it the second viewing, I really liked the twist that they did at the end. I think it elevated the film. There are still some parts in the film that are just eh, but overall it's enjoyable, and I'd probably watch it a third time. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Let's start off with my top 10 horror movies. Number 10, I have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This movie was a pleasant surprise. I love the books of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I remember reading them as a kid, enjoying every page, every image that seared into my brain. I really liked it. I liked the setting. I like the Halloween feel it has. It's definitely a movie worth watching during the Halloween time. I like the characters, the story, and talking about heavy-handed, this film isn't heavy-handed with its message, especially on minorities. I actually thought it was very well done. It was very subtle, unlike another film. And they did so well from putting the images from the book onto the actual film. Number 9, I have Happy Death Day to You. I actually thought this film was entertaining. It wasn't as good as the first one, but overall, I thought it was entertaining. I really like the main actress. She does a wonderful job in the film, especially in the first one as well. And yeah, overall, Happy Death Day, I liked it. Number 8, we have The Prodigy. I actually really liked this film. I think it was a January or February film, and it was very surprising. I liked the kid actor; he was very good. I like the subject matter. We've seen films like this, like The Good Son, The Omen, Evil Kids. I thought the kid did very well with his character, and I like the little twist that they did at the end. Orion, man, they're doing a pretty good job with their films, as you'll see later on in the list. I have near the top. I said later on. It's the next one. Number 7, I have Child's Play. This movie was another surprise. I didn't really know what to think when they were remaking the original Child's Play. At first, I didn't really like it, but the direction that they decided to go with AI, mechanical robot doll, I thought it was different enough, and I actually think it pays off. I like that they had Mark Hamill voice Chucky, and I think Aubrey Plaza, the kid that's in this movie as well. I think everyone as an ensemble did very well in this movie. Acting was great. The kills were pretty cool, and yeah, again, Orion, they did a wonderful job. The music, the score on this film, awesome. It takes it up a notch. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. As you can see, I actually have a poster right here. Now let's move on to my number 6. That is Brightburn. When the trailer for Brightburn came out, I did not know what to think. I think it was a pretty cool spin to do on the Superman lore. Create a superhero that actually becomes a villain. And the spin that they do with gore, the violence, I think is very well done. There are some things within the film where I felt like, oh, they could have done this better, and it probably would have put it further up in the list. But overall, I thought the movie was entertaining. The violence was a nice touch, and the overall acting was pretty good. Number 5, I have Crawl. Crawl was another surprising movie this year. When I saw the trailer, I thought it was going to be bad. But I did see Alexander Aha's name attached to the movie. And so far, I've liked a lot of his films. I like Maniac, which is a remake. I liked The Hills Have Eyes, which is also a remake. But one of the first films that he came out with, High Tension, I really liked. The violence in that film is very well done, and he does adapt it into this film. This film has awesome effects. There are some parts where you could tell the alligators are fake, the CGI, but of course they're not going to have real gators there to attack them. But maybe if they had a little bit less CGI, it probably would have done the movie some good. But I thought it was a very fun time. The showing that I was at, people were having a lot of fun with it, and I think it really upped my experience as well. So, Crawl, if you haven't checked it out, you guys should definitely check it out, especially if you love creature features. This movie was made for you. Number 4, I have It Chapter 2. This movie I wanted so badly to be my number 1 this year. I was very excited. As you can see, I have my Pennywise right here. I was very excited for this film. I really love the 2017 It Chapter 1 movie. Awesome, 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 awesome. Now, I did have a little bit of hesitation because in the TV movie, the weakest part was the adults losers club, and I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case in It Chapter 2. It was half and half. Of course, it's not going to have the magic as the first one, because I think they had the right mix of kids in there. They were all really good, funny, hilarious, and of course you're going to have that banter with Bill Hader in the film. But it just didn't have that same magic, if you know what I mean. And the scares were a little bit lacking. There was some really good parts. They really did recapture those parts where you were filled with dread, like the beginning or the part with the little girl in the middle of the film. But I really wanted a little bit more. Still a solid film. I really liked it. It had that feeling of epicness, but if they would have integrated a little bit more horror into it, it would have brought it probably extremely higher in the list. Number 3. This is a surprise for me as I was making this list, but Ready or Not, man, that movie was a lot of fun. Again, a great theater experience. The parts where they wanted you to laugh, everybody was laughing. The parts where everyone was feeling intense, you were feeling intense. There's a lot of scenes in this film where your adrenaline gets pumping. This movie was a lot of fun. The ending was great. It was solid. Dude, I really, really like this film. If you haven't checked out Ready or Not, definitely check out Ready or Not. For number 2, I have Us. Jordan Peele has been on a roll. A lot of people are divided on this film. I, for one, really, really liked it. I liked the acting, the scares, the story, the subject matter. You haven't really seen anything like this, especially in today's cinema, and especially a mainstream horror movie. You don't really get films like this. This is such a kooky, weird Twilight Zone-y film that never would have came out in the past 10 years. And luckily we have a great filmmaker in Jordan Peele able to bring this to fruition and able to see it in theaters everywhere. I thought it was a lot of fun. The only part that I had a little bit of a problem with was the end, but other than that, a lot of fun. And for my number 1, Midsommar. Ari Aster is also on a roll, man. Hereditary, now Midsommar. This guy, he's a gift. He is so intelligent, so precise with his filmmaking. Everything is there for a reason. Everything, you feel like every scene matters. There's a lot of imagery. This movie looks beautiful, looks elegant. There are some scenes that are just disgusting, and there is a scene near the beginning, or in the beginning, that you just have that sense of dread, just like in Hereditary. He is so good at putting emotion into the audience. And the music, the cinematography, everything about this film, the acting, everything is precise, everything is meticulous, and that's why I love it so much. That's why it's my number 1. It was the fastest 2.5 hours I've ever had in the cinema. But yeah, guys, that was my end of the year recap for 2019. Those were all the horror movies that I saw. There, like I said, there was a couple that I missed, but and my list might change. But that's how it stands. But that's how it stands right now. Anyways, what were your guys' top tens? What movies did you not like this year? Was there any in my list that you didn't like? I'd like to hear and I'd like to talk to you about it. Keep an eye out for my top 10 horror movies of the past decade. That's right. We're entering a new decade. I decided to roll back the clocks, look at films throughout the past 10 years, and see which ones were my top 10. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. Anyways, my name is Hector. This is Everything Horror. Take care, peeps.